Okay, welcome back. Here we are at Designing Mind Salon in Greensburg, Pennsylvania with master hairstylist Richard Miller. Let's go right over to Richard right now and hear what he has to say.
Okay, this is a friend of mine, Penn. She has just had her third child, believe it or not. I don't believe it. And her hair has gotten rather long. And what we want to try to do today is try to get her back into something that has a little more snap to it, a little bit more style, maybe a little bit more excitement to it, get some more choppiness, more texture put in here. And from looking at Penn's face, her facial structure right in here is a little wide right in here. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to direct some of this hair with fringing to kind of frame her face in a little bit more. And I think up in the top, we could certainly layer this a little bit more to kind of pump this up a little bit more in the crown. What we're going to do is we are going to invert this, shorten the back up. I'm going to leave the front and the sides extremely long. I think I'm going to keep them almost as long as what they are, but I am going to add quite a bit of texture to it. And I think that we are going to have the bangs about as long as they are right there. So it's all going to go forward. It's going to go forward and the back will be missing. So I think that's going to be a great look for her. It's going to be easy to do, simple. It's going to be round brush. As you can see here, a lot more can be happening back here than what it is. Right now her hair is on the long side here. It lays rather flat. And I think by cutting some of this and cutting some of this out, and it's going to really give some lift and some angle and some shape. So it's going to give her a nice lift rather than being so flat, so drugged down. So at that note, I'm ready to shampoo her and get started, okay? Rule of thumb, you always keep your fingers under the water. You always keep your fingers. If it's too warm for you, it's going to be too warm for somebody else. Once you do come to a temperature that you feel is good, you try it out and you ask them, is this fine? Is this too warm? Is it too cold? So you want to try to make sure they're as comfortable as possible in the shampoo bowl. With Ten's hair, I'm looking for volume, so I am going to use a volumizing shampoo on it. Every little bit will help. Okay, shampoo brands. Well, I've been having major issues with product companies over the last several years. And what I really like to do is use products that aren't diverted. That's a very, very sore subject with me, product diversion. Paul Mitchell's products, I love them. I love Paul Mitchell products. I used them for probably 15 years. But then it came to a point where it was being sold in grocery stores, drug stores, and for me to have an answer for somebody like, well, I thought they were professional products. I mean, I didn't have an answer. And it all goes back to product diversion, which is a very hard thing to stop. So I was on a mission of finding products that were very exclusive products. I went that route. And going that route, we ended up always on back order. We couldn't get products coming in, they were always on back order. So we basically had very little product on the shelf to retail. So we ended up going with Big Sexy Hairline. That's a fun line. It's a fun line. Kids love it. It's very well advertised. And Ten, is there much of this out on the streets? Do you know of? In the other stores?
No, I don't see it.
I don't see a whole lot of it either. So we try to get something that you can't buy at a store. That's the whole point of us being here. Yeah, I'll tell you, Joe, I've had so many people, sales reps come in here. They promise me, you'll never see this out on the shelf. You'll never see it. And every one of them, they all ended up out in the retail area. All right, come on over. Okay. We're going to start this off by establishing a length in the back to go from. Being inverted, we do want to work in sections accordingly. Now I'm going to take this up rather high. I'm going to take it up high just to exaggerate it. Cutting this end, this length in right here, I really do like molding. That's a technique of pressing the hair up against the neck, inserting the scissors in. Really gives you a nice clean edge. Okay, now this, let me see. I think this would be a good length right here to start. That's going to give us enough of an angle to make it a little bit more dramatic. So here I start. Now, I'm going to start on this, and I'm going to pull everything to this particular guide I'm cutting. Everything will come to this. You can see this is a little fuller already just from taking that much length off. This is lifting away from the head rather than hanging flat against the head. Now when you pull your guide out, always make sure you find the guide. Don't ever cut assuming that it's in there somewhere. Make sure you find it. Finding your guide is a lot like having kids. When they get lost, you have to find them. So it's very important. And there again, all of this that I'm gathering in small sections, I'm pulling it back to that guide, all to the same pull-in position right there. All the way back. Okay, we're going to start seeing this coming alive on this one side as soon as I'm done over here. Now, in order to do a cut like this and really get the most out of it, the client probably should have ample hair on these sides in order to pull back to this guide, okay? See how this is shaping in the sides already? This is starting to shape up here. Look, see that? And take about half inch partings is fine. Kind of creep your way around. Smaller partings you make, the easier it is for you to spot that guide too. Okay, let's do this side. Now we're going to do this side exactly the same way. We're just going to keep pulling it back into this center guide right there. I think whenever we get done with the cut, then we should talk about some hair coloring on this too to make it maybe a little darker, a little more shiny. That would be good with this look.
Sounds good.
Be good with your skin tone. See, this is all going to be blending into these sides from the back to the front. Okay, now we're going to come around to the front. And the first thing I would like to establish at this point is the length. Okay, we're going to be coming from here, point A, to point B right there, leaving this as long as possible. Now, in here, there's a lot of different techniques you can use. You can use razor. I prefer shears. I use all my haircuts with shears and only shears. There, that will give us a blend and a nice angle. Then I will continue pulling back. Repeat the process on this side. Okay, now one important thing that you want to take notice anytime you're doing any kind of bob cuts, unless you're looking at something asymmetrical, but we haven't seen that for years. Always check. Always take a check right up front, right under the chin, and make sure. That's how easy it is to make sure this is even. That's how easy it is to check. Just check it right there. And we should be right about there. And as we move to the top, all we're going to do is nick off the little tail up in the top. That's all we're going to do right here. Just nick that off. You'll find it, if you pull it back correctly, you will find you have a point on the top. We're going to leave the bang area as long as possible. That's going to go all well and good with the long sides up in the front here. There again, we're just going to do some scissor razoring technique to blend. A lot of people will use chunkers or razors or whatnot, and personally I prefer just my shears. In through here, this is feeling a little heavy, still a little heavy, up through here and around on the crown. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go in here with our texturizing in here. See, when you texturize with your shears, one big advantage over chunking shears is when you have a client in your seat and she's paying good money for you to put highlights in her hair, and then when it comes time to cut her hair, the chunking shears can be very unforgiving as far as cutting out the highlights that you just put in. So if 10 in fact had highlights, the technique that I use with my shears, I could actually cut around the highlights. can still see I have a little bit more bulk in here than what I wish to have there, so I'm going in there. I'm going to go in here and put a little bit more smackdown on it here, right in here. You can see how this is starting to air and lighten up, get piecey, get much piecier, which is going to be a lot of fun with products. In here we still have a little bit of a heavy section also. And with the shears you can also do most of the razor techniques that people do with a razor. You get sections like this, you just slide your shears. This is that crown area that I want to lighten up a little bit in here. And there's not going to be a lot of blending in this one particular area, and there isn't really intended to be. This, we want to pop. So this is going to be a little shorter than the sides. But there again, that is okay. Not all of the haircuts are meant to blend. Want these sides nice and wispy. There again, razor technique. Shears this far open, see? Who needs a razor? Okay, let me take a look around here now. Let's go tighter right in here. A little tighter right in the bottom. There again, I'm just pulling this bottom in, giving it a little bit more of a tapered in look. Again, pulling it just into the center guide. Now, does that feel lighter? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, you like your part over on the left, is that correct? Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And you can see how the hair wants to piece already, just from the texture cutting. And with product on this and a round brush, it's going to be fantastic. You can see the pieciness. And the back is tapered tight enough that you're going to have an option with this hair. You're going to be able to flip this up, flip it down. It's going to be a lot of fun in that aspect, where if you want to get funky with it, you can put some of your molding gunks on it. You can stick it up in the back, or you can smooth it down, depending on the occasion. Okay, now, there again, volume, volume, volume. So I'm going to use a little bit of the sexy big hair. Root pump on it, particularly up in here. I have a little bit of blow-up gel. I'm going to use just a little bit of that on the root area up in here. Give it a little bit of extra support. When I blow dry, I normally always blow dry with my hand. I don't bother using any of the brushes, the straightening devices, until the hair is completely dry. And the hair can't possibly straighten until it's dry anyway, so. You see, I'm kind of blowing the hair forward to go into the direction I want to style it. It's going to be styled accordingly. Okay, let's get our round brush out and start. When we use our round brush, we're going to direct everything forward there again. Forward, smooth out. You can see the nice lift we got from the side here now. Do you see this? This is great. All these front pieces in here, we're going to use product on those that gives some separation to them, some texture. Put your blow dryer right on top of your metal barrel brush. Right on top, and it's like one big hot curling iron. Here again, like I said, with a round brush and a blow dryer, you should only have to spend about 10 minutes on this. That's just the way I cut hair. That's the way I like to cut hair. It should be great looking. It should be simple, and the customer should be able to do it themselves at home. All right, let's take a look here. The back of this, I think we're going to have some fun with this today, and we're going to make this come up. I'm going to be a little crazy, say, back here. There's a lot of different kind of molding products. The best kind I like is the ones that don't get too heavy, too greasy. Rake the product through the ends. You can see what's happening here. Don't be afraid to get your hands in, to mess it, texturize it, pull the product through the ends. Get in and get some pieces pulling out. And the fun thing about all the texture cutting and the shorter cuts that I really do like, that there is no set yes or no's how to do it. Every day you'll get a little bit of a different look. Every day you get a fresh look, a new look. It's not like you're setting your hair with a curling iron or rollers and getting that same size curl, the same shape, and the same all the time. So this gives you a lot of freedom to have fun with it, to mess it, to smooth it. And like I said, I think what would be great on this for your next step would be go a little bit darker with some real nice shining agents. Like I said, feel free to go in and find these pieces, all these chunked pieces that we created in there to pull out, to use. The back. You can see how the back it really has a little bit more punch to it right back in through here. A little more height in the top. Lots and lots of texture. There's a texture all through this. These are very deliberate pieces you're pulling out here too. You want them to almost adhere together. And there you have it. Okay, in closing on the haircut, you can see that we gave 10 quite a bit more lift on the back. She has a nice lift. She's got extra volume on the top now. She has a lot of fun hair to have fun with. It's going to be very simple for her to do. There again, round brushing only, a little bit of product, piece it out, have fun with it, love it, enjoy it.
That was terrific. I'm sure you agree. We're going to be right back right after these words with Mr. Miller again, and this time Mr. Miller is going to show us a man's haircut. Don't go away.